Good evening, YouTube. Hey, Pipers, welcome back to the Bass Piper channel. Hey, it's been a few minutes here, guys. I know it's been a while since I've been on, and I do want to appreciate a few of you that have inquired about the Bass Piper and wanting to know where in the world have you been. And it's been a little bit, and you're just checking on me, I guess, to see if I'm still breathing, I guess. But yeah, we're here, and just been a while. Life has gotten in the way like it does for most of us. And I'm out here on the porch here for a few minutes and trying to beat this sun. Of course, the worst time of the day to come out and try to do a video is right when the sun is going down. So if you see this video, if you see me squinting, this is the second take that I have done on this video. The first time I got going at the beginning of it, and my allergies kicked in with this sun, and it starts my eyes watering and burning and all of that. And so I got to get a, a handkerchief or something there to wipe my eyes to stop it from burning. But I think I've got it under control right now. But anyway, as you can see, the sun is starting to come up and get in my eyes. I wish this thing would hurry up and go down. It's going between the trees and hitting those light spots. So we'll see how this turns out. But anyway, guys, we've been doing pretty good. Just been busy. I don't know in the last video that I made if I told you what had been going on with us here at the homestead. We've been in search of, over the last several months, of vehicles. And about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I guess now, we were at a local restaurant with our 2010 Honda Accord. And it's an older vehicle. In fact, it turned 16 years old yesterday. And bought it the day before Father's Day of June of 2010. She's got 289,000 miles on it. Guess almost there at the 300,000 mark. And been doing well. Been doing very good. We were at a little Mexican restaurant having some dinner one night, and come out. And if I've told this, I can't remember what was in the last video, but forgive me. But there was a young couple that had a Nissan Titan 4 Pro or 4X or something, Pro 4X or whatever, beside us, and they decided to leave from the restaurant they were at. And as he was turning out, he decided to take my front bumper off with it. And so when we come out of the restaurant, of course, our front bumper, half of it was hanging in the parking lot on the ground. And so to make a long story short, his insurance company that he had ended up totaling our vehicle because of age and miles. But we were debating on what to do. You know, we had already had the GX. We had bought back in September, and I knew the truck was starting to get some age on it, and it's thrown a code now with possible overdrive solenoid and or the torque converter, which both is transmission. So it's got about 218,000 on that one. So we knew that it was going to be time to have to go ahead and maybe do something, and we really didn't want to have to buy two vehicles this close together. So we started looking, and so we've been busy with that over the last, oh man, probably month and a half. In fact, I don't know if I told you, but we pulled the trigger on a Infiniti QX60, which is like the sister to the Nissan Pathfinder. As most of y'all know, Nissan and Infiniti are the same company. Infiniti's just their luxury line, so to speak, like Lexus is Toyota's and Acura is Honda's. And so we ended up getting that 60, and a beautiful car, I mean showroom condition, peanut butter interior, black, jet black outside, really looked cool. The only problem was when I took it to the Infiniti dealer, it was a rust bucket. Up underneath, come find out it originated in New York. so the guy ended up telling me that inspected it. He said, well, it's already 3 years old. That was a 2023. He said, then with the rust, add another 3 years to it. So I said, no, that's got to go back. So we took that back and started looking again, and we ran across and got a hold of, had a dealer call me that a lease vehicle from their dealership had been turned back in, and it was an Infiniti QX80, which, if you know anything about Infinitis, they got it's more of their full-size SUV. It has some low miles on it. It was a 2022. It's like the GX is a 2022, the Lexus GX we got. So we ended up pulling the trigger on that one. But I made sure that one went up in the air before I bought it. And of course, it was clean. It was from this area. And we don't have to worry about a lot of salt and snow here in Virginia and down the Carolinas. They lived out on the border of Carolina and Virginia. And so we just purchased last Friday, a week ago, a QX80. And, but we got it home, and on the way home, I was following my wife back from the dealer. We stopped at a stoplight, and the way the sun hit the instrument cluster gauge, I'm going, man, what is that on the lens? It looked kind of distorted, like kept looking at it. I'm going, man, there's just something, something either spilt on that or something ain't right. It just made the speedometer, the digital speedometer, not digital, but it both has analog, tach and speed, but in the middle, you got the little info center thing that digitally, where you can set it to read your miles per hour. I'm sitting there going, man, this thing looks all distorted. What's up with that? Come find out, when the detailers detailed the vehicle, and it was a certified pre-owned vehicle on this one. So they certified it, which gives you an extra 2 more years on the warranty and that type of thing. And they're supposed to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. But we know how sometimes that is. But when the detailers got done with it, evidently they got crazy with any of you guys that are detailers out there, or no detailers. They got crazy with the detailing interior spray, evidently. And they ended up, they were either trying to clean the steering wheel area and all that, they sprayed onto the plastic lens of the cluster. And I don't know what they used, but it ingrained in the plastic, and you couldn't budge it. When I got home, I sprayed a little window cleaner that I have for detailing, this regular window cleaner, and I never spray nothing on the thing. You always learn, and you're taught that you spray it on your rag and then your microfiber and just wipe it down. Well, that wasn't coming off. And so I said, well, maybe they sprayed it so bad that it went up underneath and it's in the inside of the lens. But anyway, we took pictures, and so I called Infiniti right away that night and told them what was going on, what I saw. Didn't see it when I left, just simply because the way you're looking at it, you don't see it. But when you turn the headlights on and everything is illuminated, oh yeah. And if the sun hits it during the day just a certain way, you can see it as well. And it just looks like it's just runs and just spots where they just sprayed. So anyway, to the Infiniti dealership credit, they have treated us very good. And so me and Miss Bass Piper had to drop it off yesterday morning. They're going to need it for about a week, because now they can't just replace the lens. They're going to have to replace the whole cluster. A whole new setup in there. So we'll be getting a brand new instrument cluster setup in the QX. And they have to have it there because they said they got to, I guess, send pictures and stuff of proof of the odometer reading, because where they order it, or Infiniti, where they make these, they have to program and set the odometer readings and all that stuff to make sure everything's legit. and certified that, and so the vehicle had to be sitting on their lot, and they had to take pictures every day. One of the guys said they don't trust the dealerships to do it. So, because I was wondering, well, why don't you just call me when you get the part in, and I'll bring the QX in there. And I'm getting my QXs and GXs all mixed up, but the QX, and I said, I'll bring it in. He said, well, you can't do that before we can order it. We've got to have it here sitting on the premises so that we can verify and send pictures of the odometer reading. He says, it'll take us about a week to get everything turned around and get it, in. So it's just a matter of pulling the old one out, plugging in the new one, and putting it back all together. So anyway, we have just had a busy time the last 3 to 4 months with vehicles. And I'm going to tell you, Bass Piper and Miss Bass Piper is slam worn out looking and researching and just going through all if you've ever been out buying a vehicle, it can be taxing and frustrating. Then you're wheeling and dealing, and it's just the stress and the aggravation of it all. Plus the coronaries that you get looking at the prices of vehicles today. Plus, even the used ones make it worse because they're not giving those away either. And so we had pulled the trigger on put money down to get a 26 Pathfinder, a Nissan Pathfinder, which was like the sister to the QX60 that we had that was a rust bucket. And I just couldn't get peace over that and the money they wanted for it. And I was going for it simply because it still had the 3.5 6-cylinder engine in it that has been tried and true. But I knew it was made here in Smyrna, Tennessee, where they make the QX60 Infiniti as well. And but I just was not happy with having that automatic start and stop garbage that they put in cars here in the United States. And I think the president now has pulled the plug on that. So they're going to, I guess, stop making that or putting that into vehicles. But if you have one with it, it's defaulted to stay on, and you've got to always remember to turn it off instead of it being defaulted off and you turn it on. So you've got to go. They do make a plug and play cable that disable it, but you got to have somebody who knows what they're doing to put it in. The dealerships won't do it, especially if it's got any warranty left on your vehicle. Of course, this has been a brand new vehicle if we'd have got it. But we just talked about it and talked about it. And I said, you know what, we just don't need to be spending that kind of money. And definitely didn't want that. So I said, look, I want something that's made in Japan. And don't get the Bass Piper wrong. I have driven American and I have driven Japanese, but I want these two for retirement, made in Japan. The GX460 is made in Japan. The QX80 is made in Japan. They got a better fit and finish. They got a better quality overall. And you hate to say that living in America, but you know how Americans are. We're all about quantity more than about quality. So I said, I said, these engines are V8s. We definitely don't need two, but we're going to roll with them because both of them are tried and true engines before they went with all this change up. And I knew I didn't want turbos. I didn't want super turbos. I didn't want hybrids. I didn't want electric and all that jazz. And these next two vehicles, with God willing and us living, we'll have those 15 to 20 years from now and keep them up. And they're engines that are tried and true. And that's why I didn't want to go with anything new, because you can't get them anymore. You've got to get pre-owned. And so I knew that with the QX80s, I couldn't get anything any newer than a 24, because in 25 they changed the engine, went to a 6-cylinder with turbo. Now, here's the crazy thing about that with a QX80 and the Nissan Armada. They're the sisters to each other. The new engines now, half of the engine you can't work on. They've got it sealed, or they've got something going on with it that the techs can't work on it. If something goes wrong with that particular side of the engine, you're buying a new half of the engine. Not good. They went and did something with variable compressions and things in the engines. Now, I'm not a mechanic, and some of you guys that might know more about it, you know what I'm talking about. It's just like with Honda with their VCM engines with this variable maintenance, cylinder maintenance. I didn't care for that either. And all I've heard is war stories. Burning oil. You know, these things are constantly going from 6-cylinder to 4-cylinder to 3-cylinder to 2-cylinder and back up to 4-cylinder. And it's just a mess. And so for longevity, you know, if we were a couple that was going to buy something every 2 to 3 years, you know, or pay it off in 5 years and buy a new one, that's one thing. But when you're trying to hold on for the long haul, there's problems waiting to happen, especially when you have a service writer at the Honda dealership telling you, stay away from them. Well, I guess better heed the warning. So he said, yeah, you didn't hear that from me, but I'd look for something else until they switch all that out, which I don't see them switching it out. Now, they are in American-made vehicles and trucks as well. They call them something else with Dodge and Chevrolet and all that. They go by a different name, but all basically variable cylinder maintenance type design. So anyway, we have been looking and looking and looking, trying to find the old school engines, the old school, you know, with a QX60 that was a rust bucket underneath. And when we almost pulled the trigger on this Nissan Pathfinder, the more we looked at it, we didn't need heads-up displays. We didn't need all this fancy mess. I mean, it was enough to have to deal with cameras and sensors all over your car. But I said, let's go analog. Let's go with the regular stick shift, you know, for drive and park and all of that. Not this new push button mess and all this mess that's just, you just see dollar bills down the road with stuff going wrong. And I don't know if I mentioned it in the last video, but I called to check on a turbo. And I told him, I said, if I bought a 2026 Toyota 4Runner, we were looking at those a while back, until we found out we didn't like the fit. I couldn't even fit in it. And I was really disappointed because I really wanted one of those 4Runners. But the inside of it, they're small. And I'd be sitting there trying to drive like this with my head cocked over. You know, that ain't good. And I can't wear my hat. So I said, on one of these 26 4Runners, if I needed a turbo, how much would it run to get one of those replaced? The woman in parts said, well, the part's $3,500. I said, do what? She said, yeah, but it's $2,700 to put it in. I said, $6,200 for one turbo? I said, I knew then. Nope, we're not going that route. And I can imagine twin turbos. And guys, I tell you, getting out here, if you haven't been looking for vehicles, it is a freaking nightmare. And it's really discouraging and disappointing. And when you look at the price of stuff and you look at the quality that's starting to go down, and you know, my 2010 Honda and my 2001 Dodge Ram, you know, I was really debating just go ahead and put new engine, new transmission and all that, reman stuff, and just keep that going. But, you know, by the time you get it all done and fix the little rust spots and all this kind of mess, and you still got, you know, a 25-year-old vehicle, it's kind of like, oh man, you know, do I want to really do all of that? So yeah, it's been some big decisions, trying to make the right decisions, but I knew with the Japanese, they had better fit and finish. They had better quality all around. Didn't have to worry about the auto start and stop. They don't put them in them. And I mean, the GX drives like a dream, and the QX, man, that thing just floats down the interstate. And I mean, it's like sitting on, it's like sitting on chair cushions in your couch in your living room. If you got, you know, nice plush, you know, fabric couches that sit really well. And so Base Piper, as I'm getting ready to turn 65, 26th of July next month, I'm looking for cool in a different way. I'm looking for comfort, cool, and ride. As I was saying, I like to glide down the interstate. This stuff of all these wrap seats and sports cars and hardtails and all of that. I'm getting older. I want something soft on my tail, and so I like to glide and fly. You know, going down the road when comfort. And that when I get there after a 500, 600 mile drive, I don't get out bent over, cramped up, and got to take ibuprofen. So, with that said, guys, it's been 20 minutes. I've been rambling. That's what's going on with me. We're finished up with it now. Hopefully, in a week, we'll have the QX back. I'm going to send it to detail, get it in one of my detail companies here in the area. Guy that I use. I'm going to get them to detail it really good because I just wasn't impressed with Infinity's detailing. They told me that since last several months they've had problems with their detail. Of course, I could see that. What happened to the cluster? He says, well, they're really not detailers, they're cleaners. I said, well, then just tell them to leave everything else alone. I'll take care of it. So I got a few little spots on the ceiling, on the headliner we got to get taken care of, and I want to get a paint correction done on it. Paint is in very good condition. It's a pearl white. They call it moonstone white, I think is what it's called. It's kind of like a metallic off-white pearl. It's got black interior. both vehicles got black interior. What I said I didn't want to end up with, and I really wanted to go after the peanut butter interior. But I just couldn't see justifying another 15 grand just to get peanut butter. And that's the way they got it marketed. You have to get the top trim to get the peanut butter. So we didn't get the peanut butter. I had peanut butter in the rust bucket, the QX60. That was showroom. I got to have my peanut butter for 1 week before I turned it in. So we've got now a pearl white with black interior and a tan roof. And we've got the GX that is a gray exterior with black interior all the way inside, black top and black seats. So, but they ride like a dream and they're built like a tank. All the research that I've seen on them. And so they're engines that, as they say, they are overbuilt and underworked, and that's what you want for reliability. Just keep the maintenance on them. So anyway, that's kind of where we've been, guys. Car shopping and just, looking at all the figures and wheeling and dealing and getting sick all at the same time, those hopefully will be our transition vehicles for into retirement in the next couple of years. And the Honda, we decided to go ahead and buy that back after they totaled it, and I went and got the bumper put on it. The money we got for it, we were able to get a brand new front bumper on it, fix it right up, and she's riding like a dream. I'm going to have to put a few more, I think I'm going to have to get some struts put on the front. I had some recently put on the back. But other than that, it's going pretty good over here. And sorry for the long haul of waiting to do another video, but yeah, life gets in the way sometimes. And I might sit back here tonight after the sun goes all the way down, just have a stogie or something and kick back. We had a great day at church today for Father's Day. And had a good attendance and baptized 2 people today after service. So that was exciting. And the church is doing good. We're still out here digging, looking for a building. And God knows where we're going to be and when we're going to be in it. So we're just doing our part. We keep looking and checking and waiting on that door to open. So thank you guys for staying with me and hanging in there, and I'll try to get out here and make some more videos now that we've got all this stuff behind us and the car shopping is done. And So me and the Miss Bass Piper is glad that's over with. We'll get the QX back hopefully in a week with a new cluster, and I'll get it in detail, and she'll be ready to roll. So then I can take over from there. I'm just not one that I don't have much experience on paint correction. I do detailing, do my own detailing, but when you start breaking out buffers and compounds and polishers, you got to kind of know what you're doing. You don't want to burn the paint, and that's the last thing I want to do with a newer vehicle. So I'll let the pros that do it every day take care of all that for me. So anyway, until we see each other again, relax, have your pipe, roll your stogie, and don't forget the many blessings God bestows upon us each and every day. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.